18 billion from the Sun on August 25, 2012. Kilometers away and the surrounding heliosphere. Leaving our solar system. Before any man-made. To places the deck can't reach. In fact, he sailed past this border. Painter Ridvan on his interstellar journey. It was a completely different first. Now to the bottom of the periodic table. Let's have a look an element found here. This is what will make this trip possible. Humanity is hard to imagine. Element that allows it to travel distances. Plutonium was first discovered in the 1940s. Plutonium in human history. Potentially constructive as well as destructive. It is a rare element, physicist John Goffman once for plutonium. Elemental devil from hell. Said the element, but why is it good? To understand, first briefly describe this element as a. Let's get to know 94 in each plutonium atom. Proton is found in Uranian year, this number is 92. Neptunium is also 93, these two elements. Ancient names like Uranus and Neptune. Because he got it from the gods and planets. Kidney in the late 1940s. Sibort and discovered by friends. Plutonium-2. Discovered beyond Neptune in the 1930s. And the Roman gods of the underworld. Dwarf planet named after its field. It is named after Pluto, actually Cyber. And friends plutonium. To produce a particle accelerator. They are working with this device, deuterium atom. With a core pours it a uranium. They're throwing the sample of this experiment. As a result, very little neptunium appeared and neptunium deteriorated. Plutonium A had been transformed, by the way, clans. The name may have sounded familiar. Manhattan we talked about in our video. He is an important name of his project. After discovering the chapter break in 1941. Published article on the military of plutonium. Once the potential for use has been discovered. Then it suddenly disappeared. Large so that it does not fall into the hands of people. Probably later already cyborg Manhattan. On plutonium production in the project. However, he had become an important figure. If we go back a little bit, the first tangible amount of plutonium Psi 20 August. At the University of Chicago in 1942. Created but already here. As some of us have mentioned. Plutonium has already shown its military potential. They discovered because one of them is in the thorium every. When there are 94 protons, the number of neutrons. This may vary. So isotopes as a result of variations. The same atom has similar who has those properties. Have different atomic masses and variations with physical properties. Isotopes of uranium. You know there is one of them. Uranium-235 is already an atomic bomb. Can be used as fuel for. Was discovered immediately after this discovery. Plutonium as an alternative. Took the stage and became the wife of the atomic age. It's all come today, when we look at all. From two types of plutonium for uses. One can mention reactor class. The other is the weapon class, plutonium. Already in 1945, tens of thousands of people in Nagasaki. Nickname of Fat Man that caused the death of the person. Basis of the atomic bomb. So the content of plutonium had incredible destructive potential. From this patriotic and used to talk about places in detail. So for military purposes. Plutonium used is a plutonium. Blow up to 13 months of not actor in production. Derived from uranium fuel. About 10 to make bombs. Kilos of pure plutonium-239 isotope BUNA. We need America right now. We'll talk a little bit about the amount you have. Amazing to make this type of bomb too. Megawatts of salt per year in a nuclear reactor. You need an energy like. In the process, especially continuous fuel. Reuse the heated fuel by changing. You need to process, so this is difficult. Therefore, weapons grade plutonium. Special properties that increase the density of isotopes. Produced in reactors, and you come to the first atomic bomb that explodes 16. In New Mexico in July 1945. Much of the Manhattan Project we talked about. As part of the secret Trinity nuclear test. He had blown it like he was so strong. Felt at a distance of ma 160 kilometers. This is the first atom, on this basis. Plutonium lay a month of achievements. Before even. First of an atomic bomb over uranium-235. Once used as an attack tool. And on the 6th of August 1945 to Hiroshima. It was thrown in less than 3 days. Fat man. To a second pseudonymous atomic bomb. This was left on the gas cannon. In a relatively large powerful bomb. This destructive power based on plutonium Nagasaki. How many people did he kill exactly?
Although it is not known yet, immediately before the first explosion, some 40,000 people have officially evaporated. 1,000 people were injured, yes. Effects of radiation last for years. In the long run, only conquest is the only. More than 140,000 people per. Thought to be responsible for his death. We are talking about an incredible situation. Why is it called the element of the devil? Made more sense, but the problem is not in the element, of course, anyway. Yes, that. We have a problem at the moment. 10 for a bomb. We were saying that a kilo of pure plutonium is enough. What about the hand of only America right now? Do you know how many exactly? 87? River hides in their facility, but this destructive lab produced. The element also has an advantage. It is an incredibly efficient source of energy. Pluto is in nuclear power plants today. 1/3 of the energy produced comes from the element. Also not using Pluto play in the reactor. Interesting, by the way. He's hiding for something. Maybe we will talk about them. Most common in nuclear reactors. The isotope of plutonium is uranium-238. Plutonium-239 formed by its neutron. Stop as a result of fission. This isotope is used in nuclear weapons. This is up to 235 enriched uranium. Can generate energy here. Old new. Plutonium-238, an isotope, is on the market. Used in pacemakers. After the lithium batteries arrived, of course. This typical usage is no longer available. But still, no matter how devastating. Apatorium, as you can see, when needed. However, it can be very useful. Plutonium is less mentioned and perhaps one of the most important uses of space exploration is a game 238. Incredible as a result of radioactive decay. Releases a heat and at this temperature. Thermoelectricity to generate electricity. It can feed generators and best of all. So much to produce very high energy. Too little plutonium is needed. The amount is too much. This can generate a lot of heat. To generate electricity and heat can be used, and there is also a half-life issue. We have enough time to see the third one. EFSA, we are not sure why it will not be enough. We are not talking about this game, of course, but it's not too far from the game either. Is a term related to radioactivity. Barks and a radioactive isotope too. Half of the atoms to something else. Required to transform or degrade. Refers to the time that measures it and measure tal as fuel. Plutonium-238 in very suitable for use. Half-life has been around for 88 years, for example, and during this time you have a very important. It can provide energy source. Spacecraft in deep space. Decades of travel. Because you can provide from the sun. Powered by solar energy. The energy that vehicles can use is also very. Also, for example, on Mars again. This energy is not related to dust and similar problems. Faces unreliable. In summary, this therefore, both Plutonium-238 and Mars missions. And deep space exploration. So it's a great candidate for. America is perhaps the most, but most other. We'll see what things might be hiding for. As we mentioned here at the beginning, this house. Together with Sivan and Voyage to vehicles. Perseverance landed on the surface of Mars this year. Plutonium-238, the main fuel of the vehicle. Until now, 30 in different ways. It has also been used in spacecraft. Where sometimes the most harmful plutonium. And is said to be the most radioactive element. Look researches it's the opposite. Points directly to your swallow name or. As long as it is not exposed for a long time. I'm a button, it won't hurt you too much. To the future among you like me. If there are return lovers, the Doctor's first Delori. Making time travel possible. Plutonium stop. Music? Is that enough, Dr. Libyan? To a nuclear power plant with terrorists. Attack and give him plutonium. Makes an agreement to bring. When this plutonium returns. Promises to make a bomb. Bomb and package sent to terrorists. Anyway, in this scene, actually. To reveal something again. Plutonium in the world right now. Almost all of the nuclear. Byproduct of power plants. We are talking about some kind of nuclear waste. Unless certain actions are taken. Use is also limited in this regard. We also know that there are some. Who are the sources of these wastes? Worried about making a bomb. For example, let's see, this is humanity. Element with all kinds of potential. For what purpose in the next step? Different planets to choose. A fuel for colonization. As a destroyer or as a destroyer. Until we meet again as it was time. Good luck, dear. Subscribe.